Okay, Jana, if you want to go ahead and hit record, we can go ahead and start our
I did.
welcome. Okay, we're recording. And Joanna, did you want to begin with a message to everyone as they start trickling in, or do you want to wait just a minute or two? We still have a lot of people in the waiting room.
Do you want to give them like another minute or?
Yeah, that's fine. We can still wait. We're about 66 participants right now. So we had a lot of people registered, but I'm not sure how many total are going to be signing on today. So we'll see how it plays out.
Okay.
Give them an opportunity to get the entire address.
Okay, let me know when you want me to.
Sure.
Begin. All right, looks like the waiting room is starting to slow down. Why don't you go ahead and get started?
Okay, thank you, Jana. Keep admitting as they trickle in, please. Okay, Joanna, you can go ahead and start. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Hello, my name is Johanna Vargas. I am a Navy veteran and school certifying official for Riverside Community College District. I would like to welcome you today to today's event in partnership with CalVet. Our district is comprised of 3 colleges, Moreno Valley College, Norfolk College, and Riverside City College, which is where I reside and work out of. We're committed to our student veteran success and work diligently to bridge student education and veteran resources. Currently, we are nationally head steering credit for prior learning, which would give veterans college credit for their experience in the military. We're developing and updating our 3 VRCs. So each college currently has a VRC, and all 3 of them are developing new VRCs for the future to come, and are rapidly moving in that. And we assist our students with scholarship, book vouchers, and gift cards. And we're proud to be bridging education and the resources for our veterans, and are glad you guys are here. So thank you for the partnership to CalVet, and thank you all for being in attendance.
Thank you, Joanna. Good morning, everyone. My name is Kirk Eller. I am a training coordinator for California Department of Veteran Affairs CalTAP unit. On behalf of the California Department of Veteran Affairs and the entire CalTAP team, I want to thank you for joining us this morning, and also thank Riverside Community College District for partnering with us and allowing us this opportunity to provide you with this valuable resource and information. We have a great program for you this morning, a nice webinar. It's a very, very relevant topic for home loans. We have Brad Pedersen here this morning. He's going to be giving you information on how you can apply and information on CalVet home loans. A little bit of housekeeping I'd like to start off with. If you're not familiar with the Zoom platform, I'm going to show a tab in the next slide on how you can access the chat function. We do ask that you please keep your video and your microphone muted and your video off. We have a full house this morning with a lot of registers, and we want to keep our bandwidth up so we do not lose connectivity issues with our video or our presentation. So we will be putting some information in the chat. My colleague Jana is going to be moderating the chat function, and she will be answering your questions in the chat and directing them to our subject matter expert. Like I said, we have Brad Pedersen here this morning. He's going to be giving you information on the home loans. We have Merlene Steinbeck, who is our local interagency network coordinator for the Inland Empire region. And I will be giving you coverage on our CalTAP overview. At the end of our presentation, we will be providing a Q&A panel at the end, and all of our experts will be providing feedback for any questions that you have. If you do have any questions, you can go into the chat function of the Zoom, which is on your toolbar, and click the chat, and you can type a question in the CalTAP questions. And Jana will be fielding those questions and replying back to you. She has the option of either replying to your question and giving you the information that you may need, or she will direct it to the subject matter expert, and we will address it at the end. So with that being said, we'll move forward. My name is Kirk Eller. Again, I am a Marine Corps veteran. I served 4 years from 1986 to 1990. After getting out, I worked in the civilian market in civil service for many years, and then came back to Calvet just 2 years ago. So I enjoy working for Calvet, and this is a very rewarding opportunity for me to provide information on what your benefits are as a veteran. So what is the CalTAP program? The CalTAP program was designed to inform and connect veterans of all eras on what your earned federal and state benefits are, and also provide continued support and assistance as those needs change over time. And how we do that is through our different pathways. We have 5 pathways: the core curriculum, education, employment, entrepreneurship. There's also a 5th pathway, which is for service providers, and that pathway provides information and mentorship on anyone that provides services to our veteran community. If you look in the resource book, the information that's in our resource book is very valuable. If you focus your attention in the chat, my colleague Jana will be posting some information about our resource book, and you will be eligible to download this resource book entirely for yourself in the chat. She's going to provide a link, a hyperlink to our website, and you can download it and access it electronically there. And she's also going to post it as a file, as a PDF document that you can download directly from the chat. On our website, if you go to calvet.ca.gov, and this will be our website, our homepage. And on the right-hand tab, if you see highlighted, is our CalTAP function. If you click on the CalTAP tab, that will take you to our CalTAP page. And at the bottom of the page, there's a link for archives to webinars. And this will take you to our previously recorded webinars, as well as information on upcoming webinars and how you can register. Keep in mind that this webinar is being recorded, and you will have access to this at this site at a later date. So if there's any interruption or anything, if you lose your connection, please try and jump back on. Or if you miss out and you're not able to come back in later, you can go to this website and you can find it at a later date. So how can you use CalTAP online? Well, our CalTAP, if you go to our homepage and click on the CalTAP page, this takes you to our different pathways like I instructed. And under the core curriculum pathway, we'll highlight our California specific benefits to veterans here in California. And clicking on the module 5, you will be shown a pathway module. And this is what the overview will be for your module, and it provides all the information on the lesson plans that are in that module for your California benefits. If you were to click on an individual lesson plan, it will look like this as a document, a PDF document, and you can click on any one of the lessons and learn individualized information on specifics. So what are your California benefits? Again, in this chapter 1, your California state benefits begin on chapter 1 in the resource book. So one of the most popular benefits in California is our college tuition fee waiver. This fee waiver is for your dependents, and this will allow your dependents to attend any state-funded school, whether it's a UC or a CSU or a California community college, and the tuition will be waived. And how that works is it's through a doctorate, and it saves veterans millions of dollars a year annually. This benefit, you will need some eligibility requirements. It requires a service-connected disability rating of 0 to 100% through the VA. So I highly recommend that you contact a county veteran service officer and find out some information, or go to our website and under our education, find the college tuition fee waiver, because there's 4 plans available, and you can see which plan, most likely it's under Plan B. We also have DMV programs. The DMV programs offer having a veteran designation put on your driver's license. This is a really valuable resource, because if you don't want to carry around multiple documents, your military ID or your DD-214, this will allow you to show that you are a veteran with carrying one document. It also provides you an opportunity to get some retail discounts at different markets and retail stores. We also have honoring veterans license plates. And these license plates are, many of you have seen them. They offer your branch of service or your unit, or maybe a Purple Heart recipient or Gold Star families. And keep in mind that these license plates don't just go into a general fund when you buy these. They actually go into a fund for veterans services. So the money that's applied to this is actually going to help veterans that are in need. There's also a motor vehicle registration fee waiver if you're a 100% service-connected disability and your immobilization is limited and you have that eligibility. You can be eligible for your registration to be waived on a vehicle. Other benefits of outdoor activities: if you like to hunt or fish, you can have reduced annual fees for your fishing and hunting license. And there's also a state park pass for no cost for your state park system throughout the state. If you would go to the wildlife.ca.gov, and you can find out information about the hunting and fishing license, or the stateparks.gov and find out about your state park pass. Both of these will require a service-connected disability rating of 50% or higher. There's tax programs available if you are a disabled veteran with 100% service-connected disability from the VA. You may be eligible for a tax exemption for your property, as well as maybe a business license. I highly encourage you to go to the local county assessor's office where you live and find out what tax exemptions you may be eligible for, because each county has their own specific benefit. CalVet also has a Disabled Veteran Business Enterprise program. This program is great because it gives you information and benefits for disabled veteran businesses who are certified through the DVBE to contract with state or local government or city agencies as their business. CalVet Home Loans, like this topic, is a big one. We're all here to see about home loans. I'm not going to go into detail on this because Brad is here and I don't want to steal his thunder. But we do have great financing for veterans in a competitive market. So we can listen to Brad's presentation on this. Our CalVet Women's Division, we provide information and advocacy as well as outreach and support for California women veterans. They also partner with the California Women Veterans Leadership Council. And under our homepage for the CalVet Women Veterans, you can sign up for a statewide roster, and this statewide roster will email you and give you updates on information and upcoming events. And they also have an annual Women's Veterans Reception, if you look there at the highlighted portion. Our CalVet Minority Veterans, they also provide information and advocacy as well as outreach and support for minority veterans. They help with unnaturalized veterans in California with citizenship and naturalization services. And they also have a homepage as well as a statewide roster. So you can go to our website and look under the minority veterans to find out more information about that. We have 8 CalVet homes for long-term care here throughout the state. These are wonderful veteran homes, and they provide excellent care for our veterans: medical, dental, pharmacy, and rehabilitation services. And they also have really, really good social activities other than during the pandemic. If you haven't had an opportunity to visit one of our homes, they're beautiful and they do wonderful activities. They go out in the community as well as sporting events and have wonderful musical programs and things like that to entertain and keep them active. They're located throughout the state in Barstow, Chula Vista, Fresno, Lancaster, Redding, Ventura, West LA, and of course here locally in the wine country at Yountville. We also have 3 cemeteries throughout the state, one over by Monterey and Seaside, up north in Igo by Redding, and then our third one is attached to the Veterans Home here in Yountville. If you were interested in being buried in the veteran Yountville one, you would have to be a resident of the Yountville Veterans Home. Other websites that we're familiar with, obviously we partner with the VA. The VA obviously has three pillars of your benefits, your health care, as well as cemeteries and monuments. If you were interested in applying for health care or disability compensation, you would go under the benefits part. And accessing that, you would go to the e-benefits page and create an account. And once you're logged in, you can apply or manage your benefits, as well as manage any health coverage that you need. You can also sign up under My Health eVet, and this will allow you to message your doctor or make appointments, as well as upload any health records or documents and any pharmaceutical or prescription needs online. And this is my contact information. Here's our 800 number. Currently, our link coordinators are fielding the 800 number calls, but you can actually, my email is listed there. If you want to email me and to me directly, I will be more than happy to get back with you on any questions you may have. Now I'm going to turn it over to our local network, interagency network coordinator, Merlene Steinbeck. She's here for the Inland Empire region and going to provide you information on what she does. Good morning, Merlene.
Morning, Kirk. Thank you so much. So I'm the local interagency network coordinator for the California Department of Veterans Affairs. I'm the link for the Inland Empire, Inyo, Mono counties, Riverside, and San Bernardino. So I incorporate quite a big district. Next slide, Kirk. I want to take a look at the map. This is also in the chat. My area is the big red area. However, you can reach out to any of the links on this map. We're all very concerned about the veteran community. Everyone that I've met has extensive backgrounds. Some of the most amazing people I've ever met, I have the pleasure of working with. And in each area, every link has their own network. As you can tell from the map, what we experience here in the Inland Empire is going to be completely different than what Northern California would experience. Whether the political environment, of course, would dictate different. As you can see, there's so many much more counties that they would have to deal with and different regulations, but they have city, county, government, federal officials at every level that we can all reach out to and do a warm handoff. Next slide. So what we do is we provide outreach to service members. That would include going onto bases, the veterans and their families. So anywhere that you would find a lot of veterans, you would find a link. That would be the community colleges, the federal level, county, state. We make referrals and work directly with the established providers in those areas. So on the county level, we have contacts. On the federal level, we have contacts, and we also assist with local emergencies. So any place that you would find an LAC or a local assistance center, you would find a link that would help direct. For example, the Central California link had those fires, and there was a local assistance center out in Porterville. When you only have 8 members as your coworkers, if one of them needs a day off, you go cover. So I was sent out to Porterville myself and assisted with the fire victims out there. But we also provide leadership and advocacy to the local communities. So a lot of times, if you were at a meeting, you weren't exactly sure what was happening, you could find the link and ask us, and we would be able to direct, because we're always in the know. We're always in many of the board meetings, and we direct people and give insights. As analysts, we refer back to Sacramento, our findings, and we provide metrics. Next slide. So we have contacts at the state level, of course. So in EDD, one of our links, 2 of our links have extensive backgrounds with the EDD and the American Job Centers, where we can refer veterans to jobs or assist with unemployment benefits. But we also have the county veteran service offices that we can directly contact and get in touch with a staff member and do a warm handoff. Also, we assist with other information about CalVet. We'll do these webinars, and we have contacts at all of the local VA medical centers and vet centers. So as you can tell, our network is very extensive. Next slide. So here's my contact information. If you have any questions or would like a contact or would like to become part of our network, go ahead and reach out to us. And you can reach us at the phone number there. One of the links will answer and we'll be able to direct you. Thank you so much, Kirk. I was going to go ahead and hand it over to Brad.
Thank you, Merlene. We appreciate what you do. Like Merlene said, if you have any information that you're seeking out or looking for a particular information on a specific subject in your region, please call her. She's wonderful to be able to have that resources and connection with somebody that may be able to help you out directly. And now I'm going to turn it over to our colleague, Brad Pedersen, who's from Calvet Home Loans, and he's going to give you his presentation on applying for home loans. Good morning, Brad. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. My objective today is to give you as much information as I can in a very short period of time, and enough information that if you or someone you know is thinking about buying a home or refinancing, you would understand and be able to explain to them why they might want to call Calvet for some help. Next slide, please. I found that whenever I talk, it's kind of the best if I start at the very beginning of my division. It sort of answers a lot of questions if you know our roots. So I want to tell you how we started out. It was about 1921. In 1921, what was happening is our military personnel were coming home from World War I. And the state of California population and the government of the state of California were both very patriotic. They were just very excited to greet these people coming home. And they kind of got together and they said, what could we do above and beyond the federal benefits they've earned for serving? What could we do as a state, unique and individual, just to say thank you? So they looked at the demographics of the people coming home and they saw a couple of things in common. One of them was a large amount of those people coming home were actually farm boys. So in 1921, they started the Farm and Home Loan Program. Now, if you fast forward to about 1943, that's when my division became one of the divisions under the California Department of Veterans Affairs. And today, if you go up to our building across from the Capitol building in Sacramento, go up to the second floor, you'll see it still says on the door, Farm and Home Loan Division. And I point that out for a couple of reasons. One, I want to point out we've been around 99 years. We're actually turning 100 years old in May. We will have done about $8.5 billion in loans since 1921 for veterans who were falling through the cracks. We're pretty excited about that, and we're proud that we're able to help those veterans. But we're unique too, because our basic mantra, what we were designed to do was to help veterans for the benefit of the veterans, help them get into a home, whether it was through Calvet Home Loans or another lender or anywhere. We're just here to help the veterans. We're here to help distribute the benefits that they've earned, and we want to give them as a thank you. Next slide, please. So one of the problems with being almost 100 years old is we have tons and tons of loan programs. During the different decades, we would come out with different loan programs to help different situations and different needs. We would help in the 20s and 30s and 40s. Things are different now, right? And so what's happened is we change our programs. We don't often get rid of them. We often just shelve them. We don't use them for a while. So what happened is when the internet age came, people would look up a Calvet loan program, of which we have many, and they would take a snippet of it, a piece of it, and they would copy and paste it to an article, and they would find another program and they would take a piece of that and they would copy and paste it into that article. And then pretty soon they would publish that article on the internet. And I don't think it was any malintent or anything. It's just the information got garbled. It got pushed together. 99 years of programs pushed into maybe one page. It was misunderstandings, a lot of misunderstandings. One of the most common misunderstandings, it used to be, it's no longer the case. It used to be that you had to have entered service in the military from the state of California to even apply for the Calvet loan, had to have entered service. But that's no longer the case. Today, anyone who entered service from anywhere in the world, lives anywhere in the world, can still apply for the Calvet loan. They have to qualify and they're going to have to live in California, but anybody's eligible to apply. And another piece that's often misunderstood, we talk often about veterans when we're talking about this bucket of benefits, I call it, from the state. A lot of those benefits from the home loan department apply to active duty also. So it's not just the veteran who's done all the way, active duty, reservists, all of those people can look to us for help. Next slide, please. So I get a lot of calls and I love the calls. And you're always welcome to give my direct line out to anybody and say, hey, I've got a friend at the state. Give him a call. I bet he'd love to help you with this problem. And I will, even if they're not in the state, by the way. I often talk to people from other states who have a VA problem. But the number one question I get all the time, I get it over and over, is, Brad, what's the difference between Calvet and VA? Or they might even say, which is better, the VA loan or the Calvet loan? And I've answered this question so many times that I kind of came up with one answer that seems to resonate with most people. And I'd like to teach it to you because I'd like you to help me get this information out. So here's what I basically say. I say, when we're talking about the federal VA home loan program, that federal VA home loan program, you have to first understand federal VA doesn't actually loan the money. Federal VA guarantees the money. Now, that guarantee is sort of like an insurance policy that they'll give to any lender in the United States and any county in the United States who wants to make that federally guaranteed insured loan. And they basically are saying to the lender, if you give this loan to my veteran and they default on the loan, we're going to come in and make you good for the first 25% of the loan loss. It's a fantastic program. I absolutely love the federal VA home loan program. I want to be clear. I think it's a great program, and every veteran should look into this program if they're ever considering refinancing or buying to see if it's the best program for them. It's a great program. Now, I also want to say something that surprises most people. We are not in competition with the federal VA home loan program. We actually do the federal VA home loan program. So who's Calvet? Calvet is this really weird place, right? This really weird thing. We're the state of California, Calvet Home Loans, acting as a lender. We're the state of California acting as a lender to help cut through red tape, help be more flexible, to help get our veterans into homes. And we have many types of loans. We have many types, not just one. We have many different loans we do. Some of them, like I said, are old and we don't use them much. They don't really apply to today's world, but we have many different programs. But my favorite loan program, and the one that I'm going to talk about mainly today, and I want you to understand, is when we take that federal VA home loan guarantee of that program that I love, and we combine it with what I personally call this bucket of benefits that the state of California wants to give veterans so they stay here in the state. Let's be honest, that's why they're giving them to you. They want you to stay here. They have this bucket of benefits. We combine the two loans. We take the federal VA guarantee, the state of California bucket of benefits, put them together. 1 + 1 is 2. You get more stuff. You're getting federal and state benefits flowing together into one loan. It's my favorite loan, and I think every loan officer at Calvet loves that particular loan. Next slide, please. So usually when I'm talking to someone in person, and I'm getting used to the Zoom thing, but I really wish I was standing in front of you and we could just have more of a conversation and I could answer questions on the fly. But usually when I'm talking to somebody, the next question is, hey, Brad, so what's in that bucket of benefits? What am I getting? You know, what makes it so good? Well, there's a lot of things. Some of the benefits, honestly, maybe you wouldn't care about. Maybe it wouldn't be that valuable. Others would be maybe really valuable. It depends on your individual situation. But one thing I think everybody could agree on, the way we underwrite is a huge benefit. The way we approve or pre-approve the loan, the process we go through is very different. You see, 99% of the lenders today do the basic same thing. They take a 4 to 8 page loan application, and then they type that loan application into a computer, and then they hit enter, and the computer runs the application through a bunch of checks and rules, and the computer looks at that application, and the computer spits out what's called commonly a desktop underwriting decision. Computer makes the decision. And one of the ways that I usually know a veteran has gone through this process and not been successful is they'll call me up and they'll say something like this. They'll say, hey, Brad, what's your minimum FICO score? That's that credit score everybody talks about. Well, Calvet doesn't have a minimum FICO score. You see that process going through the computer system, one of the typical checks in there is a minimum FICO score of about 620 today. If you're below that, you might just receive a, we can't do the loan, I'm sorry. Or they might do the loan at a much higher rate or higher cost, whatnot. Calvet doesn't have a minimum FICO score. Now, that doesn't mean that you can have horrible credit. It doesn't mean that. It just means that there's not any level where we're just going to automatically say, we're not even going to look at you. We're not going to look at it. We're going to look at the actual factors on your credit report that maybe led to that lower score. A good example is a divorce. Many people go through a divorce. Maybe 3 or 4 years ago, someone went through a divorce. Their credit just sank. They have this very low score. But when we look at the report, we find out, hey, well, the last 12 months, you've made payments on time. The last 24 months, you've made payments on time. 24 months of good payment history to us is like A+ credit. We're very forgiving for anything that happened over 24 months ago. A lot of times we're very able to work with just 12 months of pretty good credit. Even if I had somebody come to me, and I'll use an example that's actually based in history, they maybe come to me and they say, Brad, what do you think? And we look at the credit report and I say, well, you've got these 3 late payments 6 months ago. Here's what I want you to do. And every loan officer is trained to do this. They're trained to give a path to home ownership. We'll look at the problem and give an assignment. So in that case, I'm thinking of one loan in particular. I said to them, okay, you've got these 3 lates. I want you to go 6 more months with no late, so I can take 12 months of clean credit history that you've made 12 months of payments on time, no lates, to the underwriter. We took it to the underwriter. We got approval. They eventually bought a home. They were able to close. They just needed to know what they had to do and how important it was to make payments on time. By the way, it's the little things that bite. Elephants don't bite. It's the little things. So a lot of times when you're taking out credit cards, if you're taking out small credit cards, where it's $15 a month payment or something, those are the ones that seem to come up and bite people. They don't forget to make their rent payment or their car payment, but they might forget or think it's not important to make that $15 a month payment. It's important. Make all the payments. Elephants don't bite. It's the little things. Next slide, please. So how much do we loan? Well, we'll actually loan up to $1,027,968 with 0 down payment to a qualified veteran in our highest cost counties of California now. That's over $1 million loan with 0 down. It's possible with Calvet. Next slide, please. If you look at this chart, you'll see even in the lowest price counties of California, we'll still loan up to $685,312 with 0 down payment. And I'm told, like in lots of the areas in Northern California, there isn't really even homes available in that price range. They're less than that. So usually we can get a veteran into a home if they can qualify in these price ranges in the different counties. San Francisco, yeah, it's pretty tough, but it's still $1 million with 0 down is possible. Next slide, please. One of my favorite questions that I get is when somebody will call me and they'll say, Brad, I had a short sale or a foreclosure. Is there anything Calvet can do for me? And I love the question because my answer is different than I think any other lender. I don't think they have the same ability. I get to say, maybe, let me look at it. Because you see what happens is when you have a short sale or a foreclosure, part of that loan guarantee, that insurance policy I talked about with federal VA, part of that got used up. It's gone. And sometimes, by the way, when you go into the bank, I've heard veterans tell me this, they'll say, well, you need to pay that back before you can get another loan. Not necessarily true. You have some of it gone and you have part of it left. So you could have a partial VA eligibility. So let me give you a common example. Veteran goes to the bank on the corner, walks in and says, I'd like to buy a home. They look at the DD 214, they pull it up and they say, well, just looking at your DD 214, not your income or anything, the maximum loan that you'll be eligible for under the VA Home Loan Guarantee Program, and I'll use a round number, is $300,000. That's based on the partial, what's left of their VA entitlement eligibility. So the veteran typically in that case says, well, that's great, but I actually wanted to buy a home for $400,000. What can you do for me? And in that case, the way lenders typically look at this, they say, that's not a huge problem. The differential between the $300,000 purchase price you can get if you qualify under your VA entitlement and the $400,000 desired purchase price is $100,000. You need to put 25% of that differential down. Now, what that would mean in financing terms is a $400,000 purchase with $25,000 down to get a VA-backed loan. That's actually still a pretty good deal. That's less than 10% down, right? It's not a bad deal, but it's just not what most of my veterans are hoping for. They're hoping to come in and have that full zero down program or something like that. And that's where I love my answer, because Calvet does something very unique. It's just me, but I've learned to call it secondary entitlement. What we do is we join hands with federal VA. We look at the quality of the loan application. Do we think they're going to make payments? Do we think they're going to default? Is this a good purchase? If everything looks good and it's a one-on-one basis, we look at all of these, it's a very personal process. But if we think it looks good, we'll go ahead and we'll do that zero down $400,000 VA loan, Calvet/VA that I was talking about, with zero down for that veteran. Even though they didn't have enough federal benefits, we will come alongside with what I call secondary entitlement to cover the differential. Now, we can't always do it. Sometimes maybe they want to buy an $800,000 home and they've got $300,000 entitlement and it's just too big of a stretch, can't do it, can't entitle that much. And what we'll do in all of those cases is we always try to help the veteran. So maybe we'll say, well, you know, you need to put 10 or 15,000 down. We need something, and we'll kind of try to make them an offer to see if we can make it happen for them. That's our desire, is to get the loan to the veteran. So we do whatever we can to make that happen. Now, this actually works another way. Some people have bought a home, let's say for our example, bought a condo in Maryland and then moved to California, loved the condo in Maryland, didn't want to sell it, so they rented it out and they bought it with their VA, so they have an active VA loan in use. What will happen is the same basic math. Part of that insurance guarantee policy I talk about has been used up. So the remainder is what's left, but we apply the same principles. Can we do the loan? We look at the difference and we try to get them in with zero down with what I call secondary entitlement to give them 2 homes under that program. Next slide, please. So anybody who knows me or hears me talk knows I love to tell stories. I have to catch myself so I don't tell too many of the stories, but I love to tell the stories because they're so real. And I just love working with my veterans and the stories I hear. What happened to me is I come from a real estate lending background. I was a real estate broker for many years. I had a branch office for lending in my office. And so I had this background. I had actually done a lot of VA and Calvet loans on this out in the world. But when I came to work for Calvet, the first week they said, this is what we want you to do, Brad. Just shadow people. Go sit behind the processor, sit behind the loan officers, sit behind the underwriters, listen to what they're doing, understand the process. And so I did that. And I was kind of shocked. I was really excited to hear how flexible they were, how hard they were working to make these loans come together, how we didn't have a minimum FICO score for underwriting, how we had these higher loan limits than most lenders had. And I just thought, this is a fantastic program. But my business side, and because I knew I would be out talking about the program, I had to know the truth. So I said, I bet they have a lot of foreclosures. I bet they have a lot of cancellations, right? Because they're taking on more risk loans. So I looked it up. I went to the National Delinquency Survey and I looked statistically at where Calvet had been and where they were. And I've been following this still. And it's amazing because Calvet Home Loans has one of the lowest cancellation foreclosure rates of all lenders in the United States. We're one of the very lowest. It's very rare. You can go on our webpage and look to see how many foreclosures we have. They're for sale. You can buy them. But you'll probably find we don't have any. We might have one or two. I don't think we have any right now. And I think we probably had maybe 6 this year, total. Most of ours tend to be a veteran who was older and left this planet without anyone to give the property to, and we got it back. Next slide, please. So what kind of happened is after I've been there for a while and I started to hear all the stories, I started to talk to the veterans who had problems. I started to read the letters coming in from veterans about their experiences with Calvet, and it started to all click. Calvet loan officers are not commission-based. Calvet loan officers are told to give them a path to home ownership, tell them how to make it happen. Calvet home loan officers really are benefits officers, just trying to get them their benefits and help them figure things out. Sometimes some of my most valuable experiences have been not helping someone get into a home. I had someone who called me and the next thing we knew, I had explained to them how to get $80,000 in student loans forgiven. She had a great day that day when she figured that out. She didn't know that she was eligible to have it forgiven. We get to help with those types of things. I talk to a lot of veterans, especially Vietnam veterans who have never applied for service-related disability. I talked to one who had broke his knee on a jump and an ankle and knee broken, never even applied for service-related disability. We try to help them get into that bucket of benefits. So I grabbed a few letters just because I love to show the story and explain. Let's see, this first letter, I picked this letter out because this represents a large amount of people who end up at Calvet Home Loans. This veteran was told by somebody like yourself, hey, why don't you call Calvet? They didn't know to call Calvet. Somebody else suggested it. You see, he says a lot of people shut the door on them, that felt like they had turned their backs on him. And the word that he used that I liked was he was skeptical. And this is common. Veteran goes out and works in the world and they're hearing everything's going to be fine. And then often it's not. I had people last spring when we started COVID I had one guy, he had his loan pre-approved, he had done his inspection, he had put $6,000 in escrow and released it non-refundable. And then the lender called and said, we changed the rules. You now have to have a 660 FICO because of COVID, and he didn't qualify. He came to Calvet and we fixed it. But that was a real story where all of a sudden he thought everything was just fine and then it wasn't. And this is common. Now, this particular person, I think he says he had talked to a couple of lenders and had that skepticism raised. He didn't think it was going to happen. He got his pre-approval from Calvet. And then the day that the loan officer, Adam, I believe on this one, called him and said, your loan funded, you're closing escrow, he said he actually shed a tear. And I think that's important that you understand the real hero in this letter is people like yourselves telling other veterans, don't give up hope. Why don't you give Calvet a call? At least they'll tell you the path to home ownership. And if you would help me, I would love that. Next slide, please. I threw this in. I just got this after the January 7th, after New Year's. This is actually a veteran that I met in Los Angeles at the Bob Hope Patriotic Center, which is near Skid Row. He was a homeless veteran living on Skid Row for 10 years. He wasn't there just to see me. He was there to see everybody for help, which I liked. He had fire in his belly. He was wanting to get off the streets, and he was able to get help. He was able to get that bucket of benefits from the state of California. It was a long process. It took about 2 years, but he was able to actually go from homelessness to owning a home. And he has a beautiful home in Tehachapi. He had to move outside of Los Angeles, and he's an artist, and you can check his art out. And he sent me this I wanted to share it with you, this postcard art. And this is two veterans in the Skid Row area, shadows that he made into art. And I just think it's important to understand we're not commissioned salespeople, because the commission on this was not very big. Most people aren't going to work 2 years with a veteran to figure it out and to get them into a home and to help them and guide them. And we have a number, I can think of 4 homeless veterans that we have helped put into homes. And they all tell the same basic story. They just need a little bit of encouragement. They need someone to stick with them. They need small course corrections in their life and someone willing to take that 2-minute conversation and do that for them. Next slide, please. This just came in January 16th. And I think he said something in here I thought was kind of funny, so I'd like to say, oh, he was saying that he had called and we weren't high pressure. He liked that, so he called in and he made the application. But he mentions he had an edge because he had some bad experiences. And I think that's kind of funny because people do get kind of beat up. You get kind of angry in this process, like no one's really helping me. And he had an edge, but he got to one of our premier loan officers, Eric, who just never wavered, who helped him get through the whole situation and helped him get his pre-approval, get his approval, find a home, make multiple offers, go through the whole process. Eric was there the whole time with him and helped him close. He said, I needed an angel and I found several at Calvet. I love that. I love artistic people who can say things like that. The point is the people at Calvet really want to help you and they want to help your friends that need help. Next slide, please. So I'm trying to go fast today, because I have more I want to share with you. So I'm only going to pick one piece of the benefits. I want to talk about the home insurance policy, but I've learned when I talk about this policy, I need to make some caveats. You can only have the Calvet home insurance if you fund your loan through Calvet. So if you have a VA loan funded by any other lender or a conventional loan by any other lender, I'm sorry, it's probably a good loan, that's great, but you can't have the VA Calvet insurance. It only comes with the Calvet funding through us. And why you might want it is it's kind of what I call an old-fashioned policy. It's full replacement cost guarantee. The deductible is $250 for hazard insurance, $250 for fire insurance, $500 for flood insurance, $500 or 5% for earthquake insurance. And you're going to get this insurance even if you're buying a home in San Francisco on top of a hill or next to the Russian River that overflows every few years, it seems. You're going to get these insurances with that policy, that loan we talked about, the Calvet/VA. This is a fantastic insurance policy. But what I didn't understand, because I'm not an insurance professional, I sort of, heard about full replacement cost guarantee, but I didn't really understand how important it was until we had all those fires up in Paradise, California. So what happened in Paradise is all these homes were devastated and burned at the same night, right? Many people who the day before the fires thought they had plenty of insurance found out a few days later they were underinsured. You see, the cost of materials skyrocketed. The cost of labor skyrocketed. And all of a sudden, many of those people, and I'm told even today, found that they didn't have enough insurance to rebuild their homes. Now, Calvet had 26 homes that were financed by us that burnt down in that fire. All 26 homes were rebuilt or are still in the process of being rebuilt for $250 deductible. The replacement cost guarantee kicked in and covered them in that situation. Super valuable. I got to do a talk to Veteran Service Organization people. And I was doing this talk, and when I got to the insurance portion, somebody stood up in the back of the room and said, Brad, I was one of those 26 people. It wasn't just how great the insurance was. It was also that somebody, like Merlene said today, was on the spot the next day, helping us, telling us what to do. We had great help through the whole process from them. It's fantastic insurance. And we're actually finding many people are coming to us trying to refinance, especially in those fire areas, just to get the insurance. It's not so much about even interest rate for them, it's they want that insurance. Next slide, please. Okay, so I'm only going to talk about one more CalVet program, and then I'm going to talk about other programs that are not CalVet related. As a matter of fact, you'll be going to another lender. That's one of the things I love about my job is when I first got tagged to be able to go out and talk about these type of things, I said to my superiors, hey, since I'm here to help the veteran, can I tell them about other programs, even if it's not through CalVet? And they said, absolutely, which was the perfect answer for me. So last program I'm going to tell you about, it's kind of a secret program. That's why I'm telling you about it. You see, we were finding about the last 2 years that we had been sending out a lot of pre-approvals. Well, it was about 2 years ago we figured it out, but we figured it out. We were sending these pre-approvals out in the same basic price ranges, but they weren't getting acceptances. We weren't getting offers back for loans. So we called everybody up and we said, hey, what's going on? You know, why aren't you getting your loan together? And we heard the same story over and over. You see, they were trying to buy the lowest price properties in the counties they lived in. And common sense, they were trying to buy them, the lowest price properties, and they were trying to come in with zero down, and they were trying to come in with seller pay all the closing costs, commonly called a VA no-no. They didn't want to pay anything. They wanted just to come in and use all their benefits. Great way to buy. But in the market we've been in the last few years, the sellers were just saying, sorry, I have 4 or 5 offers. I'm not going to pay your closing costs for you. I wish I could, but you have to understand. And they weren't getting their offers accepted. So what we did is we went back and looked on that, I call it that shelf of old programs. We found one and we dusted it off and made a few changes to it. Basically, it's like this. Basically, if they haven't owned a home in the last 3 years, and if their income is at the 80% or below of the adjusted median income for the county they want to purchase in, there's a high probability they'll qualify for this special secret program. And the program is this: we'll go ahead and do that CalVet/VA 100% loan. And then we'll come in behind it and we'll do an additional loan for 3% of the loan amount that they can use to pay their closing costs. Now, we weren't trying to make extra money. It's the same interest rate on both loans. But what we did, in order that we didn't have to lower the amount that they could qualify for, that 100% loan, what we did is we made payments on that small 3% loan optional for up to 10 years. They can make payments day one if they want to, but they don't have to. They could wait a year or two and then start making payments on that. It's optional. Because it's optional, we don't have to put it in the debt to income ratio when we're qualifying them. We can get them bigger house, more house loan. That has been super successful. I think we're doing 35–40% of our loans are under that program. I call it secret only in that it's not on the internet. We don't have it talked about on our webpage or anything. When you're with your loan officer and you're going through the pre-approval process, they will automatically tell you about that if you qualify for it. They'll just look and say, oh, everything looks good for you to get that. It's an automatic. It's a fantastic program. Okay, now for clarity, what I'm going to talk about next is not CalVet home loan programs. You are always welcome to call me and talk about any of these programs, and I'm not going to talk about all of them. I don't have time, but I'm going to tell you about them, but they're not CalVet programs. They're somebody else's program that I just think is great and you should know about. The first program I want to talk about is called a mortgage assistance program. Next slide, please. The mortgage assistance program in general is a city or county program that you would call the city housing department probably. And I like the verbiage, do you have any down payment assistance loans? I think that will perk anywhere in the state what I'm looking for. These loans are for an amount that can change from city to city, if county to county. They can all kind of do it differently. Let me talk about my favorite poster child loan. My favorite one is Santa Ana, California, not too far from probably most of you. Santa Ana, California has this program, and here's how theirs works. You could borrow up to $80,000 if you qualify at 0% interest to use as a down payment closing cost, up to $80,000 at 0% interest. you don't have to pay it back for 45 years. I would like some of that money. $80,000, 0% interest. You got to pay it back in 45 years. What I love about their program is they went a few steps further. If you happen to have gone to high school in Santa Ana, get a 4-year college degree, come back and use the program, they will forgive $10,000 every 5 years you're in the property, up to $40,000 forgiven on that $80,000 potential loan at 0% interest, not due for 45 years. Fantastic program. Now, for the last 2 years, I've been kind of mentioning this program up and down the state whenever I talk, because I kind of want to throw it out there. I'm very excited that I found out in December that there's other cities, other counties are coming on board and are already offering some of these. I know Los Angeles has a program, Garden Grove, Cypress. There's a lot of different places that are starting to offer these programs. I actually called and talked to Claudia from City of Santa Ana yesterday because I wanted to be sure it was still available before I talked today. And she told me something interesting that I think is good for us to think about. Right now, everybody's been locked up with COVID. Everybody's having a lot of problems with their rent and making payments. And the cities have actually been focused on distributing help for the rent and all of that. And so these down payment assistance programs and monies haven't been utilized. They're sitting there waiting for you. She said they have pulled her off to help with the rent assistance from time, but the program is still there. Now, the last thing I love about the city of Santa Ana is about a year after I had started talking about this, I was talking to them about their program, making sure it was still in use. And she said, you know, normally to qualify for our program, you have to either live in the city or work 32 hours a week. That's one of the basic qualifications to get into this program. But they had decided, and I confirmed it's still true, that a veteran coming from anywhere in California can apply for their program. So this is a fantastic open program. And after I talked to her, I got thinking about it again this morning, actually. I would love for people, when you call the different cities that you talk to about these programs that you're thinking about buying, maybe to ask this question: hey, does the residency and the employment matter if I'm a veteran or active duty? I want them to start thinking about, well, why don't we open this up to all veterans also? I'd love every city, every county to offer these types of programs. Maybe you can help me push that a little bit. Next slide, please. Okay, before I go on how to apply, I want to tell you about one other program that actually is not funded right now. They're out of money, but they're probably going to have money the end of February, maybe March. This program is a federal program. It's called the WISH program, W-I-S-H, WISH program. Now, the way it ran last year was for every dollar that you could save, because the program is to incentivize people to save money to buy a home. So the way the program worked last year was for every dollar up to $5,500 you could save towards buying a home. If you qualify for their program, you could get a 4-to-1 matching grant. In other words, up to $22,000 in a grant. I love the word grant because that means you may not have to pay it back. The way it worked last year was by 5 years, it was completely forgiven, I guess, of home ownership. And then they had some percentages for earlier years. If you sold earlier, you had to pay part of it back. This is a fantastic program. And usually this is offered by like Chase Bank, Union Bank, these large banks. You'll be looking for it there. You can always call me, we can talk about it. But some of those banks offer, both Chase and Union, I mentioned them, they offer other grants that you could combine. I think Union Bank has a $3,000 military grant that they offer. You got to check with them. It's not my programs. I just want you to know these options are out there. People don't check on these programs. And I think it's just important that you know there's more out there than you think. You just got to be kind of aggressive in finding it. You're always welcome to call me and I'll talk to you about your specific situation, where you're at and what I think you should do. So how do you apply for a CalVet loan? I think it's a great idea to apply for the CalVet loan when you're ready to buy a home, because you're going to get that counseling from a loan officer, and they're going to kind of look things over and personalize it and help you. And with COVID, we've made it so simple. Next slide, please. What we did is if you go to the webpage, which I recommend everybody that's on this call, go to calvet.ca.gov. At minimum, download the Veterans Resource Book onto your phone. It's the Bible for veterans of the benefits that you could be entitled to. Look around the website. There's tons of information that's valuable. You should look at it. But when you get to our home loan page, you can look through all kinds of stuff. But at the bottom of the page, there's a button that says Apply Now. Click on that Apply Now button. Next slide, please. And what we've done is this is our application. It should take you less than 2 minutes to fill out the application and submit it. I actually had a gentleman in his late 70s call me last week, and I helped him on the phone go through and fill this out. You know, he was having trouble, but it took us still about 3 or 4 minutes. It's so simple. Now, once you hit submit, it's going to give you an automatic response and say, thank you for applying for your Calvet home loans. Someone's going to contact you within 48 hours. That's business hours. If you do it Friday night, you're probably not going to get a call till Monday night or Tuesday. Get your DD 214 or statement of service if you're still active. 2 months bank statements, all the pages. 2 months W-2s if you have W-2s. 2 years W-2s, and 2 months pay stubs if you're working. That's generally the basics of what they need to get started. Of course, it's personal. They're going to look at your situation and maybe talk to you about other stuff. It's super fast. It's super easy. You ultimately get a letter from the state of California that says, congratulations, you've been pre-approved for this amount of money, blah, blah, blah. Tell you all the information. Have your realtor call Calvet and they'll help you. Next slide, please. Here's how we look in that book that I highly recommend that you download. Next slide, please. This is how you can get a hold of me. You can call any of the numbers and say, I need to talk to Brad. If you call the 916-747-4137, that is my cell phone. You will get me. And I answer my cell phone. I would much rather talk to you as it rings as opposed to let it go into voicemail and calling people back. I try to answer everybody. And I sincerely want to help you and your friends not have a stressful experience. Even if you're buying out of state through another lender, I don't care. If you have a problem, I'm welcome your call. Give me a call and I'll try and help you. Thanks for letting me talk today. I really appreciate it.
Brad, thank you very much for joining us today. That's a lot of information, and we know that if you have any interest in a home loan, please contact Brad. Here's his contact information. I know we've gone a little long. It is just now after 12 o'clock, but if you would like to participate in the Q&A, please stay on. In the chat function, I want to address this, that we have a survey through SurveyMonkey, and we would highly encourage you to join a link up on this and put your feedback in there. We value your feedback, and we take that information seriously as we can modify our webinars to improve and get those topics and information that you veterans so desire on these webinars. And now I'm going to focus on our Q&A, and I'm going to turn it over to our training coordinator, Jana Adams. She's been moderating the chat and facilitating that and taking your questions. So Jana, thank you for joining us and going through the questions. Also, this is the page with all the contact information for Brad, myself, Jana, as well as Merlene. So please take note of this and copy this page if you need the information from that. Thank you, Jana. Go ahead and take it away with the questions.
All right, thanks so much, Kirk. Good afternoon, everybody. It's noon already by now. So we've got a lot of questions that were asked. If for some reason I missed your question or we're not able to get to it, we do value everyone's time today too. Please know that you can contact us on the CalTAP team directly. You can contact Brad directly. You can also contact Merlene directly. We all actually do answer our phones and we do respond to emails fairly quickly. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us if for some reason we don't get to your question. But let's go ahead and get going. Brad, if you want to go ahead and unmute yourself, we'll go ahead and start asking you some questions. The first question that was asked was, I am a Vietnam era veteran. Does Calvet Home Loans have an expiration date as to eligibility?
Not really. You need to apply, and there is not really an expiration date. programs can change depending on your service record. But I did a loan last year for a 104-year-old World War II vet. So chances are very good we're going to help you.
Wow, that's really great. And real quick, before I go on to the next question, a couple people actually have asked, and I've responded directly to them, but will these slides be sent out to participants? And while we won't actually send them to you, this webinar that's being recorded will actually be posted to our website, as well as the presentation. It will be a PDF version. It will be also posted right next to the recorded website. So you guys are recorded webinar. So you guys will all have access to it probably by tomorrow or so. It should be on our website. Okay, next question is, do you help veterans that are looking outside of California?
I do. I mean, I can't make a loan outside of California, but if you have some questions, let's chat. Let's see if I can give you some advice or some pushes, some different directions.
Great. Next question is, I want to understand why I would want to use CalVet versus a regular VA home loan. The reason why I ask is the CalVet loan rates are definitely higher.
Yeah, some people.
I know you went over a lot of that already.
Yeah,
go ahead.
No, it's a true question. So what will happen when you call CalVet, which is really rare? I tell people all the time, don't use CalVet in your situation. If someone is looking to refinance right now, I love the federal VA program called an IRRRL. It's a streamlined refinance. We're going to always try to be honest with you, tell the truth. Some veterans need the additional flexibility in that bucket of benefits I talk about, and they're going to choose the CalVet loan over another lender's loan. But it's not necessarily that we stand on a hill and say, we are the best at everything. No, we just really want to help you. We'll do our best.
Yeah. So I have one question that's next that I'll actually take, Brad, isn't for you, and then we'll get back to a bunch of questions for you. It was, is there a fee for the license plate? And do you need to be 100% disabled? And I can go ahead and take that. And if I'm missing something or do say something that isn't correct, please jump in, Kirk or Merlene. But all of the fees and all the different options for the license plates are located either right on our website. You can just Google CalVet, or information is also in the resource book as well. You don't need to be 100% disabled, because anybody can order one of those license plates to honor someone that has served for us. So I think that's correct. Kirk, did you want to add something to that?
Yes, that's correct. The fees for for the driver's license or the license plates.
It says on there for the license plate. So
yeah, the license plates do have fees. They are personalized license plates, basically specialized plates. There are fees attributed to that, depending on what character or what logo or what you're going to have put on there. It's just like having a personalized license plate. So it's going to depend on what size vehicle it is as to what the costs and the fees are to that. But those fees specifically for the license plates are going to go, the revenues for that are going to go to veteran programs, not to the general fund for the state.
That's actually a really great fun fact that I didn't know. Thank you, Kirk. And also, again, you can find a lot more information on that and what those fees are. You can find them either on our website, or there's information in our resource book as well. And if you can't find that, feel free to give us a call on our 800 number. Okay, next question for you, Brad. Is there an option for buyers who already use their VA entitlement but would like to purchase a second home?
There is options. We have different programs. Sometimes I don't like those programs as well as someone else's, another lender's program. So the option in that case is call me, let me talk to you about your situation. You may have a partial VA entitlement that we can stretch and still use, or maybe there'll be a program through CalVet that will be good for you, or maybe another program through someone else would be best for you, and I would be happy to discuss that.
Wonderful. Is there a max limit on the loan from CalVet?
Yes. So the maximum loan limits we had on that chart, every county in California will do up to at least 685,000, I think it is. That chart's new. I haven't memorized it. And in the high cost counties, we'll do a little over $1 million, $1,027,000. So somewhere in between that, depending on the county, is our loan limit.
Okay. Can you talk about what happens if someone, it just says, what about bankruptcy? So I imagine the person is asking if they've been through bankruptcy, I imagine.
Yeah. So in general, if someone's had a bankruptcy, we call that a credit event, and we look for 24 months to have gone by of clean payment history, because the bankruptcy should have wiped out all of their problems. So we want to see 24 months from the time of the BK discharge. Now, some bankruptcies, people enter into a payment program. We may look at how they've handled that payment program, and on a one-by-one basis, let them purchase earlier. It depends. But that's a good question to call, and let's talk about your situation. We also have very rare situations where a veteran had a problem with a foreclosure or bankruptcy, and they have great documentation why they should be allowed to purchase earlier, and sometimes, rarely, but sometimes we can even help them.
Okay, that's really great information. What if you want to buy something more than $1 million? How would that work? And do you need to have a higher down payment?
So VA, a year ago, January 1st, removed their ceiling on VA loans. So it's possible technically to get a $58 billion VA home loan. It's just you have to find a lender who would loan the money. And there are lenders out there who will loan higher amounts than Calvet. I believe Union Bank goes up to $1.5 million, but don't hold me to that. Other lenders will loan these higher amounts. Usually, of course, they're going to be a little bit tighter on their criteria and their fees maybe, but there are loans out there. But if you're talking just with Calvet, you could, let's say if you wanted to buy something $1,100,000, you would have to pay the differential between our maximum loan limit in that county. If it was $1,027,000 and $1,100,000 would be a down payment to you at that point if you were using us. Anything over our maximum limit would have to be cash with us.
Okay. How do you determine your interest rates? I was quoted an award of $450,000 at 4%, but it would be adjusted to current rates.
I'm not sure if they were quoted from Calvet or from another lender. I think maybe what they have in that situation is the way Calvet works is we get our money from a different source. We don't get to participate in the federal discount money. So we don't get our interest rates from the federal government's discounted rates. Ours are bond money from the state of California. So we get our money a little different sources. We tend to trail the market. Our rates tend to be higher, chasing the market down, and we tend to go up slower on the other side of the curve. But what I'm not sure on this particular question, a lot of times we will take a veteran example that's buying a brand new home, and we will give them a pre-approval letter. They'll buy a brand new home, but it's not going to be ready for 6 or 7 months. We'll lock the interest rate for them today at our current rate. But if before they draw their docs, our rate, current rate, us, has dropped, we'll give them the lower. We'll always do the better for the veteran. So I'm not sure which of those two sides they were asking. We're not the federal government where the rate changes every day, kind of. But we do have this long-term locks that we will offer. But you could call me and I'd understand better. If they call me, I'll go over it with them.
Yeah, and for some of these questions, if you do have super specific questions, please call Brad directly or email him, or you can always call us too. And we all actually do respond to our emails and answer our phone, so please utilize that. But I'll move on to the next question. Let's see here. The person said the award, or our award, is not good for manufactured homes. Do you have any suggestions for that?
So Calvet has many programs. One of our programs is for manufactured homes in a park. It's a totally different loan program. It's not a VA guaranteed loan program. It's not like a veteran loan. It's a mobile home and park loan. It's very different. We have that. We also have this kind of unique program that most lenders don't offer, where we treat a manufactured mobile home that was built after 1977 and placed on a lot in a permanent-like manner with this thing from the county called a 433A. We'll treat that often as a single family resident and do a zero down VA loan, which I don't think very many lenders are doing that. So I have two kind of programs that I maybe could help, but please call me and we'll talk about your specific situation.
Okay. Does the veteran fully own the property under Calvet? I've heard that refinancing out of a Calvet loan is not possible or it's really difficult.
So anybody can refinance out of a Calvet loan anytime. That's a misnomer. We have lots of people that I recommend that they refinance given their situation. What people wish they could do would refinance their Calvet loan to a lower Calvet loan because they don't want to leave Calvet, but they want to get the lowest rate they can find on the internet. You're going to leave us or you're not. That's how kind of it works. We want what's best for you, so we'll talk you through that situation. But anybody can refinance out of a Calvet loan at any time. There is no prepayment penalty. They can definitely do it. And again, this is a good one to call me and we can talk about more specifics.
Okay.
Because I'd have some advice.
Great. Okay, so this is a rather long question, so bear with me for a second. So, okay, hello. I reviewed the Calvet Home Loan website and saw the current mortgage rates. The rates on the Calvet site are considerably higher than other lenders. Is there an option to work with a lender who is lower VA loan, who has lower VA loan rates and still use the Calvet services? Thank you.
Yeah, no, there's not. It's unfortunately, we have a big bucket of benefits. Our rates might be higher than the lowest rate you could find on the internet, but you have to choose, which lender. And I'll be glad to talk to you about your situation. Sometimes it's maybe better for you to use a different lender. Sometimes you might want to look at the services that Calvet has. It's just up to you, and we want to help.
Yeah. So again, for the person that asked that question, reach out to Brad directly on your direct situation. That way you guys can determine what's best for you. Okay, so somebody else asked, what is the benefit of a veteran with good credit score using Calvet versus traditional banks or credit unions? And I kind of feel like maybe we've gone over this a little bit, but if you have any other more fun facts you wanted to add in.
Well, a lot of that might depend upon where they're buying. If you're buying in Paradise, California, you might want to consider the insurance policies that come with the Calvet loan. I have had people buying in Los Angeles where they actually compared the rate along with the insurance policies and said, oh, I'd rather have the insurance policy. It depends on your situation, the loan amount, the county you're living in. Again, we don't try to say we're the best at everything. We're here to help. We're trying to help with what the tools that we have to work with.
Okay. Are you required to use Calvet insurance or is it optional?
So it's a little bit of a large question, but not really. For almost all the loans that we're really talking about, you are required to use the Calvet insurance if you come through Calvet. There is a few, like the mobile home loan, where it doesn't apply. But in general, for what we're talking, you have to use the Calvet insurance.
Okay. Does Calvet require you to be the homeowner that's occupying the house?
Yes. The Calvet home loan program is an owner occupancy program. You can apply for a waiver if you had some kind of a event where you have to move out of the house and rent it because of, like, for instance, if you went overseas or something. you could apply for that. But this program is not set up to build an investment portfolio. And I'd be glad to talk to you about how to build an investment portfolio using your VA home loan benefits on the federal level without CalVet. I often say come in with CalVet as your last loan, but it's not made to just buy investment property.
Okay. Is there an income maximum that makes a vet ineligible for a CalVet home loan? And this is because I own a condo which is on ground lease land and would like to refinance. Is that possible?
So we wouldn't refinance the condo on ground lease land. I'm sorry, we wouldn't do it. And there is no maximum income that you can have. You know, that's good for you if you make a lot of money. It's good.
Okay. How long is a pre-approval good for?
So that's a good question. That's a really great question, actually, because every pre-approval from every lender is really a snapshot in time. And the pre-approvals will say on them, like ours says on page 2, that this pre-approval is good for 90 days from the time the credit report happened. But the reality is when you read through it, if something major happened, like you lost your job or something, the pre-approval is going to change. But if the snapshot in time remains the same and it's 6 months down the road, and you call us up and say, I have this pre-approval, nothing has changed, it's very likely it's going to be fine. We're just going to re-look at everything. We're going to have to update. But it's that's what they read in general is 90 days from credit report is what most lenders say. That's what we say.
Okay. Does CalVet take into consideration monthly VA disability pay for the potential mortgage home loan? Since the disability pay is not taxed, do they calculate this from a pre-tax amount for the loan?
Great question. So we are very aware that you don't have to pay taxes on your VA disability income. We definitely take that into consideration when we're reviewing a loan. If we're on the fence and yet you've got a large VA disability income, we'll often say, yeah, that's fine because we know you're not paying taxes on it. It doesn't actually work into our formulation, but we write it into the file. It's a compensating factor that we're very much aware of. And we love that VA disability income because we know it's great income that's going to also keep you from having to pay the federal VA funding fee if you have 10% or greater.
Okay. The next question says, my brother who is trying to repair his credit, However, he is 40% service connected and he is tired of renting and wants to invest in buying a home utilizing the CalVet home loan. Do you think this would be a good option for him?
I think it'd be a great option for him. I actually have this call quite a bit. I have people who tell me I'm working on my credit, and I'll say, how long have you been working on it? Oh, 2 years. Have you had late payments in the last year? And they say, no. I'm saying, apply now. You don't need to have the 650 FICO score with CalVet. You just need to show us that you figured it out and you're making those payment streams. So a lot of times when I hear people are working on their credit, if they've had a payment stream of good payments without lates, we may be ready now, even though their score may not meet another lender's requirement. So have them call me.
All right. And on that note, yes, please call and talk to Brad or have your brother do that. But also somebody else wrote, I'd like to get a home as soon as possible. I want to meet with Brad. So for that person that wrote that, and for anybody else, please contact Brad directly so that way he can start helping you. Okay, so the next question is, let's see here. Somebody asked, how may I get the CalVet booklet without having to download 40 pages? You may need to download the whole thing. However, you can email me directly and let me know what sections you want, and I can see if I can break it up and email it to you directly. So my email address is listed on there. Just email me directly and I'll let me know what sections you're wanting or what pages, and we can work on that for you.
Jana, they can also access it electronically if they don't want to download it. They can just go to the link for the resource book, and they can utilize the book electronically, and that way they won't have to download anything. They can just review the information they want from the resource book electronically.
Yeah, I had put the link in the chat a little while ago, but I'll add it in while Brad is answering the next question, or if Kirk, if you
I'll
want to do
put it in
that.
there. I'll do it. Go
Perfect.
ahead and continue with the questions. We'll get through this. I'll put it in the chat.
We have a few more questions, and we're going to try to get to all of them, although we do want to respect everyone's time. So we'll go about 5 more minutes of questions, and then we'll see where we're at from there. So if a person is defaulted on their federal VA home loan, can this individual still qualify for the CalVet home loan program?
Maybe. We're going to need to look at it and see what you have, but I have a different program that isn't backed by the VA loan. So it's going to depend if you have, if it shows up on what's called a CAVERS report. If the federal government is trying to collect from you, then you will have trouble getting a loan. But if it's just you defaulted or had a short sale foreclosure on a VA loan, no, you may be eligible. You may even have that partial eligibility, which I think is so key because so few people understand that they may actually still have eligibility, just not as much as they thought they had, or a lot of lenders won't even tell you you have a partial because they just don't go there. So let's look into it and see what you got.
Great. And then just one more thought about that resource book. Somebody else asked if there was, it's the 2019 version that we've been posting, and that's on our website. Is there a 2020 version out? I don't know that it's called the 2020 version. However, the next newest version has already been in the process of getting printed. However, it happened with this last year of all the craziness of 2020. So it was supposed to be out by early 2021. So we're hoping probably in the next few months or so, we should have that newest version, and we'll get it up on our website. We'll be distributing out to various places, and you'll be able to probably order them. Obviously, they don't cost anything on our website too. So hopefully we'll have more answers for you soon, but it'll be all over our website and news about it as soon as it is coming out. So, okay. So next question for you, Brad. Do you offer new construction home loans, or must we acquire the land first? And furthermore, could we refinance the land and a new home into a CalVet loan?
Great question. It's actually a many-parted question. So let me try to take pieces. You can often refinance into a CalVet home loan. And honestly, I often do not suggest that when I talk to a veteran, because I'll look at their situation and I'll say, you're just fine. No need for you to refinance to us. Remember us when you go to buy. I mean, honestly, I say that a lot. Now, we do have a construction loan, but the construction loan is not a VA federal loan. It's a CalVet program, one of those up on the shelf. And basically it requires equity or down payment, either or. So you need to have 25 to 30% rough equity in the project build, the full build, in order to get a construction loan. It's very different. If you contact me, I can send you like a PDF of the basics of the construction loan program. It's very different than other loans, but it's very good, I guess, compared to other construction programs out there, I'm told. I'm not the expert on the construction loans, but I can send you some information and introduce you to Charles Height from our office, who is the expert.
Great. Okay. So will the links and contact information for the presenters be emailed? So it's not going to be emailed out directly to everybody. However, all of our contact information is on the screen that you're looking at right now for all the presenters, everyone here today. The presentation will be in PDF form. It will be posted to our website under the previous webinars tab. And it'll have the date of this, it'll have the recorded webinar and the PDF presentation so you can view it. So it looks like right now, oh, actually, we just got another question. Okay, so I'm just waiting for my pre-approval from Eric. His credit has been fluctuating. It's over a 600, but he's having a hard time getting something. Is it possible to get something with that credit score, or do I need to wait till it's higher? I don't want to give too many details on that.
Yeah, I understand.
We're lacking.
So Eric is fantastic. I know Eric personally. He's going to do everything he can to get you the pre-approval. He may need a document that isn't even credit related. I'm not sure what he's waiting for with you, but the FICO score of 600 or over, we do all the time. We do lots below that. So it's not just a credit or FICO score issue. There might be some other document or something he needs that he's just waiting for from you. And you can call me or ask Eric again, what is it you need exactly? And he's great.
Great. Okay, so I think I've gotten to all of the questions. If anybody else has a question, or actually, wait, we just got another. Nope, I think, okay, it says, do you assist veterans who are still in school and using the education benefits? I've had lenders say that it doesn't count as income. And also he is 100% disabled.
Good question, and very common question. So federal VA tells all lenders, and Calvet is a lender, that we can't use that educational benefit income towards purchasing a home. That's from federal VA, so we can't use it. But I often go a step further and I kind of explain, well, here's the thing. Once you get out of college, you're probably going to have more income and you're going to probably want to buy a bigger home than you would buy right now anyways, and you're not that far away. We definitely can use the disability income, but you might want to just wait till you get out and get the job. But nobody's going to use the educational income. It's also, though, a side note, it can be to your advantage. Maybe you are trying to apply for a down payment assistance loan from a city or county that has income limits, and that may keep you into the limit of income that you need to be to get into their program. So you might want to look into that anyways.
Great. Okay, I think one last question came in. I think we'll take this last one. And then again, if anyone has any further questions, please don't hesitate to email any of us or call any of us. So on the college tuition fee waiver, the fee waiver is just for tuition and nothing else, books, etc. Correct? So the fee waiver, that's, oh, Kirk, why don't you jump on this? Go for it.
Okay. Yes, the fee waiver is specifically for your tuition. It does not include your books or any associated fees like parking passes or housing or anything like that. So the tuition fee waiver will just be for the fees for your tuition. And since that is the last question I think that you're going to ask, we'll go ahead and move on to the next slide and get this wrapped up. As Janet did say, if you do have any more questions for Brad, here is his contact information, his email, and his phone number. Please reach out to him directly, or one of us, myself or Janet included, and we will direct your question if we can't find it to the person and get you the resources that you need. So I would like to highlight real quickly and wrap this up. We do have some upcoming webinars in February, nothing left in the end of January, but next week we have Women Veterans on the 2nd, and we have CalTAP Shasta College. There are some stressors of distance learning and maximizing your education benefits on the 10th. And then the 24th, we have Las Positas College, Navigating the Stressors of Distance Learning again. And all of these webinars will be recorded and loaded onto our website for you to review at a later date. Here is our Calvet information, phone number or 1-800 number, and our email address. And there's also the CalTAP email listed below. You can email any one of the CalTAP training coordinators at this email, and we will respond to you within 24 hours. So now I would like to thank you all for your service. Again, I want to thank the Riverside Community College District for allowing us to partner with them and share this information. This is our 4th webinar with them, so it will complete this series. And I want to thank each and every one of our attendees today for their service, as well as their family members who may have been listening. Thank you for their service, because if you served, they have served as well. So thank you all for your time and for this webinar, and have a wonderful day. And you can access this recording hopefully tomorrow or shortly after that. Thank you, and we'll be signing off our webinar now. Thank you.